I guess our other co-host, Wanda Reed, will just jump in once she gets on. But as not to delay, we just wanted to jump on, kind of just have a free conversation, chit chat with you all. So this conversation is not specifically tailored. We're going to talk about an array of different things. We invite our males. I'm always encouraging our males to come up on a panel and speak freely and or share whatever you're comfortable with sharing. As always, we do some housekeeping rules. So please, this is a safe space first and foremost. Shop Talk is all about providing healing, education, along with resources, pretty much changing the lens of our own personal point of views. When we look at life through one specific lens, you only see that one frame, right? And we're living in a world where there's so much going on, and we have so many different outside external influences over our thoughts, feelings, and so forth, that we want to utilize this platform now more than ever for people to share judgment free how he or she is feeling. So we ask that you not use profanity, as not to interrupt the live, and because that's not what Shop Talk is about. If you could just like and share this video, you never know who may need or get something from it. We appreciate that. Please feel comfortable enough to come up on a panel and speak about the different topics. So with that being said, let's just go ahead, and jump right into it. I want to welcome all of my people. I see you all joining in. So thank you again for taking the time to come in. As always, I'm Dr. Nicole, one of your co-hosts. Again, hopefully my fellow co-host Wanda Reed will be jumping on soon. If not, we're going to keep the show going. And we have our well-requested, never had anybody request as much for a guest co-host to come back, but I think Dwain has won the hearts of many of our viewers, or either that or y'all are being very, very biased. Either way, thank you for the love. Thank you for supporting him, especially because there is a beautiful opportunity there. I noticed since having you, Dwain, as a fellow special guest co-host, we have more men that are participating in the conversations, whether they're coming up to the panel and speaking, they are engaging. So I thank you for that. So I will let you just go ahead and introduce yourself and share any words, and then we're just going to get the conversation going and see how everyone is doing. Again, if anyone wants to come up and just share, please send a request. I'll accept it. Feel free to comment. I will read your comments, and we will give an answer to the comment that you ask.
Okay, like Dr. Nicole said, I am Dwayne. I'm a guy. I guess I'm just a resident male voice that pops in from time to time. And yeah, I guess we're just checking in. So, yeah, here in Florida, and it's beautiful. Got a blue background. I wanted it to be all the way in, but it's half and half. But whatever.
To throw that part in there that you're in sunny Miami, Florida. Thank you. That was shady, but thank you.
It's all good. It's all good.
So that's the beautiful part about our conversations. For those who do not know, we love the Shop Talk platform because I am in Baltimore, Maryland. Wanda Reed is my original co-host, is also in Baltimore, but this gentleman gets to be in sunny Miami, Florida, pretty much rubbing it in. And before any of y'all come for me, this is not a bonnet on my head. This is actually a lock wrap. Hello, thank you for that compliment. Because look, I was just like, let me let my kings and queens know that this is not a bonnet, so y'all don't have to come for me. This is actually an appropriate
bonnet,
hair attire.
bonnet free in
Yes,
2024,
bonnet
huh?
free, bonnet free. So yeah, so Dwayne, I sent you two videos, but I first wanna you and I just well, I recently finished my juicing. So I did a 7-day juice cleanse, and I we
Hmm.
talked about that in the previous show, and we talked about the withdrawals and some of the challenges as well as the
Oh yeah,
positives and just the importance of approaching your wellness from an 8 dimensional perspective, which includes your finances, your spiritual, your social, your interpersonal, your physical, your mental health, um, your emotional, and so on. So I successfully completed that. I did come down 6 pounds. I was not trying to lose anything. I was just focusing on cleansing my gut out, but since then, there has been a medical change. One of the things, Dwayne, you and I homed in on is stressing the importance. Hey, Keisha, Keish, girl, it's good to see you looking beautiful as ever. We stress the importance of having open communication and dialogue with your provider. Don't do anything nutritional, medical, physical, or even psychological without seeking medical professional guidance. And Dwayne brought up two excellent points that I had not even considered. One was make sure whatever you do for you is tailored to your body composition as well as your blood type. And it was so odd that you talked about the blood type because I found out recently since that live show that I am no longer hyperthyroidism. I suffer from Graves' disease. I'm very transparent about it because in the brown skin community, we had to be more self aware and more intentional about our biomedical wellness, right? So that's a hyperactive thyroid. I did not know that that could change depending on what's going on in your body. So I noticed that my heart rate had gone back up to 184. My blood pressure had increased. So come to find out, I am now hypothyroidism, which meant now I'm working with my PCP and a holistic person to revamp my nutritional practice. So I have now incorporated New Start. This is my first week doing it, but for my blood type. And so far so good, but I will say the medicine, y'all, that medicine beat me down something terrible between the vomiting, the headache, the feeling fatigue. But luckily for me, I pay attention to my body, and more importantly, I listen to my body. So Dwayne, I want to say thank you to you for bringing up the point of eating for your blood type, because that was one of the errands I ran this morning was my grocery store run. Yay! Just looking at all the stuff,
yeah.
the yummy yummy, and I'm being sarcastic when I say it, the yummy yummy stuff that I get to eat because I am B positive. So thank you for that.
You always being positive.
Even in my blood type, right? So y'all listen, I'm a Leo, can't escape it. So oh yeah, so let's not overlook that this week Thursday is my birthday. I will be 50 years old and looking amazing. So listen, the only thing I'm asking for from you all on here for my birthday is I'm doing this transition. It started from Melanin Queen, but people seem to like it, so they've been asking me to run it back. And I just ran it back for Hazelnut Girl. Love you so much. Continue to hype me up because when you get a certain age, you need that incentive. But so I'm asking my confident ladies, whatever you transition into, I just want you to own it. But can y'all just rock out with me with that transition video? That's all I'm asking for my birthday. So that's the update. Check in with me before we move on to another topic. I want to know how my co-host Dwayne is doing, and he see how I'm looking at him. With
Yeah, yeah. I gotta go grocery shopping today too. I made a list. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna do a gluten free diet because I a few weeks ago I tried the no meat and it's getting harder to do that. So I'm like, I should listen to my body because when I do take out the meat, it's like, man, I get headaches and uh, feel nauseous and all that stuff until I eat meat. So instead of no meat, I'll like do the lean meats, like steak. I might even try like some different kind of animals other than just chicken and cows. I think I might do buffalo, elk. There's a place that serves elk close by, and no like grains like wheat. I'm not gonna do wheat, but I did find will be on my grocery list today. The only place down here in Miami I can find it is at Whole Foods. It's called fonio, and it's an African grain. So I'm gonna go back to my roots. I'm gonna be eating some African grains and be like, ooh lele, ooh lele, ooh wah wah wah, ungawa. That's right. That's how I'm gonna be feeling. That's right. Strong. So yeah, fonio, a bunch of fruits and vegetables, gonna increase my vegetables, and yeah, I'm gonna just chart my progress. I've been journaling my progress. Just been very transparent and open about that, logging my weight. And I think that's really how I'm coming to the realization that like taking meat out hasn't been that good for me because of the headaches and stuff, and I just logged that. And so, yeah, I guess I got to put that back because it's gonna tip the thing over. So yeah, that's my goals for the next 3 weeks. I'm gonna do it for 3 weeks. Um, like have no wheat. I saw Shalom join in. So Shalom, I'm
okay.
pretty sure Shalom don't do the pork either.
Yeah. So for those who do not know, or maybe you do because I talk about it a lot on my various posts, August the 12th of this year makes a year that I have not eaten any land meat, meaning no chicken, no turkey. It's been many years since I've eaten any pork. No beef. I only eat seafood. Let me just make it really easy for you all. I only eat protein from the water. So I'm super excited about that. I did consult my primary care doctor when I decided to go further, but Dwayne and I, over a period of years, we would do these 30-day challenges per his suggestion, as always, right? Men being a leader and me resting in my femininity. Nice pocket change, right? Um, I followed. I kicked and screamed a little bit, but I did follow. So this was one of the times that I did do the 30-day no meats, and I said, hey, because you can always definitely feel the difference in your body, even when you having your bowel movements, your skin tone, just everything, whether you feel more energetic, whether you still feel sluggish, whatever the case may be. So I was like, let me see how far I can go. And I looked up and several months had passed. And here next month, the 12th, I'll be celebrating a year meat free. So yay me. Yay me. But
Oh,
I do want the viewers to know I do not claim any category, nutritional category. I'm not pescatarian. I'm not vegan. I just feel better not putting meat in my body. However, understanding the importance of how the animal is cared for prior to their untimely demise for our nutritional enjoyment has a lot to do with how your body processes that. And we're going to do a whole segment on that because I would like to bring a farmer onto the show so that they can even talk about how important it is even to care for the animal before that time. But I kind of want to segue, if it's okay with you, Dwayne. I kind of want to segue into what, hey, Gerald, good to see you. What's been, for
before
lack
you
of a
do
better,
that, before you do that, I forgot. Uh, my blood type is O. I'm positive too, but O positive. So when our blood type is designed for meat, so that works out.
of course it
Meat,
does.
right? So you eat meat. For O positives out there, the most common blood type in the U.S.
But is it rare? Because I believe a that's not the most various blood type. I believe is
Oh,
A positive.
yeah, no, we're not rare. We're the most common. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's another important thing about my blood type, which again is B positive, is that if y'all are ever in need of blood, I'm not a good donor source. I'm not joking when I say
Stingy.
that. I'm not joking when I say that. I'm so serious. So, B positive blood types tend to have a weaker immune system. So, we have to really pay attention to it and make sure we're caring for it. So, I was super excited to learn that some of the things that with my blood type that I need to include in my diet is turmeric as well as ginger because for a number of years now, I've been
That's on my list.
I've been including those two ingredients in my meat, the marinating of my meat and my smoothies. Definitely both turmeric as well as ginger in my teas and stuff. So when you have a weakened immune system, you are not a good person to donate blood. I'm the person that need blood. So
So
sorry,
I can
y'all.
donate to you because I can donate to all positive blood types.
Okay. So y'all
Yeah.
heard that right. So I better not ever be in need of blood and this guy here tell me he can't
Right.
donate. So
We are so common. We're so common that they keep our blood on stock. They stock up our blood because we're so common that ours is the first that they reach for because more than likely that person is also going to be O positive because we're so common. They're like, well, just use that one.
yeah.
It's more than likely they're gonna be O positive, even if they're not. More than likely, this guy can donate blood because it's positive.
So I want to acknowledge two gentlemen that joined us in a last live. If you're not following them, please make sure you connect with them because I'm so super proud of them for a couple of reasons. Gerald, who is on the live now, please make sure you go in the comment section and you follow him. Matter of fact, follow each other. Let's build and grow one another. And please, if you're following, even if you don't engage all the time, please don't unfollow. That breaks my heart when we think we're helping each one another to grow and build their following, because there's such significant opportunities with doing that, and then you go and you unfollow the person that's following you.
Mm.
So Gerald, again, he's back on the live. I noticed,
What's up?
and Gerald is a truck driver, right? So I'm super proud of how he plans himself for his days for success, because being on the road for long periods of time, he's more susceptible to stopping at the fast food places and
Mm.
getting the unhealthy food because he's always on the go, right? And I can only imagine the long distance drives in which he's doing. And I see him with his smoothies, I see him vibing out to his music, and he just seems very energetic. I don't know if that's just your normal aura or not, Gerald, or if you feel a difference that is increased. I would love to hear about that. If you know you want to and you're comfortable with doing that. So shout out to you and thank you for tuning in, and thank you for taking a little nuggets away from that conversation. You also planted nuggets while you were up on a panel speaking. I also want to acknowledge Duke as well, because this gentleman, he's a living testament of what a little bit of hope and faith and just overall optimism can do for your wellness. When we talk about wellness, it supersedes the physical aesthetics. It's very easy for somebody to have washboard abs and look very, very good, but have no true idea what's going on internally in his or her body, in his and her mind, because I don't think people understand the power of their mind. Your body can look visibly healthy, but if you have a lot of stress going on in your life, whether it be financial and you have no spiritual foundation, I can't even express to you how that takes a physiological effect on you. So you will always hear Shop Talk talking about the importance of wellness from an eight-dimensional perspective. We can't get away from it. I want to see more conversations amongst you all about it as well, especially when we look at what all is going on in the world today. We have the upcoming election. I'm still trying to avoid that conversation for my own personal, emotional, and mental sanity. But just looking at what's going on in the world, and I want people to center themselves as we continue to have this unscripted conversation, and just think about what's going on within your own personal lives. It may not be overly stressful, but I'm sure there's parts of it that is stressful that you wish you could control. And the best encouragement and or advice I can give to each of you that's tuning in, and again, thank you for sharing your time with Shop Talk, is to address what you are in control of, and that which you don't have control of. Whoever your higher power is, trust it in his hands. And if you say you trust it in his hands, you gotta have hands off, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. Okay. So I want to sit that there, because there's a couple of things Dwayne and I want to talk about. And again, I want to invite my ladies and my men to come up and join in this conversation, because we're here to learn. We're here to also ask you to change the lens in which we're looking at some of these issues that's going on around us that is affecting us either directly or indirectly. So do you want to start it off, Dwayne, or do you want me to start it off? Because I feel like I'm doing most of the talking, and you are the man, so you're the leader.
No, no, go ahead. Cause I'm just checking in. So
Okay, so there has been a lot of talk here on TikTok centered around this video that a German young lady made. And if you haven't watched the video, please don't go back and watch it. I know you thought I was going to say go back and watch the video. Here's why I'm saying don't. Because the more you go back and you watch the video, you help her views and you help her monetize over it. And I want us all to make a conscious effort to disengage with anything that's non conducive and negative, right? And stop allowing it to have power over you. So, I'm going to give you a quick synopsis and then we're just going to process it. Please come up on a panel. You don't have to be on a camera, or you can elect to be on camera and just share your views with us or your thoughts or feelings. So, in this 2+ minute rant, the German young lady speaks of a gentleman of of African American descent, how she had to prove herself that American women. I do want to reference that at no point does she outwardly say women of color, but the more she talks, she pretty much indirectly says it and or implies how she met this man of color. Now her husband was her boyfriend. Because of his lack of family dynamics, he didn't know anything. He wasn't used to anything. So she had to teach him everything. She paid to fly him out to Germany. She paid and took him on trips. She bought him everything. She bought him things he didn't even ask for. She keeps herself clean because he wasn't used to a woman that is clean. She did not cut him off. She was not loud because she was not loud. She did not interrupt him before she fed herself. She fed him, and so on. And a lot of
Mm.
my fellow women of color is bothered by this. And I definitely I see you, Wanda. I just sent you an invite. I just need you to accept it. Um, there she is. Uh-oh. This is gonna be a super good conversation, even more now. So I noticed that my women of color are doing switching the video and they're expressing how they feel about it, because underneath of this German lady's video, there's a lot of men of color that are expressing how right she is. She's a queen. They're saying a lot of derogatory things towards women of color and why they got their passport and they've gone to foreign countries and they're marrying these women. So I want to park it right there. And I want to, my co host, Wanda Reed, this is y'all first time in a while because she's been super busy, y'all, super busy being back with her. So I want to tell her personally, I've missed her. Welcome back, welcome back. And hey, Hazelnut, I see you. Much love to you. And I want to let the guy guest co-host share his view. And Wanda, I know you're just joining, so I know you'll have much to say as you're listening to Dwain speak, but I see some men in the audience. I want to know organically what you all feel, and and if you don't agree, please own that. It's about respect. I would ask you to explain your unreadiness and or agreement or disagreement with it. So I'm gonna pause and give the floor to our male host.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I didn't watch the video, but just from what you are saying, I probably wouldn't want to even see it because I probably would have read it just like how you would have, that she's implying that that's black women. So I'm kind of partial to black women, so I don't think I would have liked that. I think that's pretty sad. You know, I think she's. It sounds like she's auditioning too, for unfortunately the black men who have a particular aversion to black women. You know, because it kind of speaks to those guys. So yeah, I think that's the kind of guys that she's looking for. And as usual, black women are the target of a lot of criticism and scrutiny and that kind of stuff. So they're getting hit on all sides for that. So yeah, I think that's kind of messed up. Uh, but what can we do other than I think that's a good opportunity for black men to kind of protect black women in that sense, like kind of let the like kind of let us take care of those kind of women because they're trying to speak to us. They're really it's not black women that they're talking to. Those women are talking directly to black men, so we should respond to them in kind. Like, no thanks, we don't want any women like that. So that's my thoughts on it. I just think that she's trying to audition, so to speak, for those guys that have a problem with black women for whatever reason.
So I
Okay,
see.
I was trying to follow. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, and I see you have a beautiful sunny background. They showing me up, y'all. Gerald, I see you. So Gerald, this is Wanda Reed, my co-host. This is your first time having the opportunity to meet her.
Good
Welcome,
afternoon. Good
welcome
afternoon.
back,
Hey.
I was just
sister.
trying to get a
Welcome back,
recap. I was
sister.
trying to understand what was going on. Can you explain what we're discussing? And then I'll let you know why I'm standing outside because I may have to drop off
Okay.
in a
So
moment.
So the conversation is a check-in. So we're bouncing around different topics. We talked about wellness because Dwayne and I just finished up the 7-day juice and cleanse. And now we've moved on to the issue of safety and disconnect between black men and black women and how people outside of the community have become so comfortable with this discourse between us that now they're commenting. So there's a lady from Germany, and I don't know how factual that is, has this video that has a lot of our fellow women up in arms here on TikTok. She goes on a 2+ minute rant talking about how her boyfriend, now husband, who's African American, was not had no home structure. He was not used to clean women. He was not used to a woman that's not loud, that cook for him, that clean for him, that paid for everything. She paid to fly him out. She paid to take him on trips. She proved herself. She said, we're no competition. It was easy for her to take the American man. But I do want to continuously reference the fact that she never outwardly say women of color. She never says that. She alludes to it. If you pay attention, she alludes to it because she begins in this video rant to attack the man's family dynamics and saying how her family showed him what a clean woman, a clean house, and family structure is like, what it's like to be waited on. She pays for all the trips, she pays the bills, she pays for everything for him. And of course, there's a lot of men of color underneath of this particular video that are in agreement with it. But there's also some men of color underneath of this video that are protecting women of color and saying stop giving it energy. And I'm erring on the side of caution, saying stop giving it energy as well, not to minimize the emotional impact, because to Dwayne's point, we as women of color, we've been under scrutiny for decades. It is no set time, for decades, and I don't see it getting any better unless, to Dwayne's point, they begin to actually be the leaders in which they say they are, and they start doing this versus being in agreement. Because in order for anyone outside of the brown skin community to feel so blatantly comfortable with the things that they said, we seen it with the Marjorie Greene and Jasmine Crockett situation. They got this information and level of comfortability from the very men and women that look like us. So they feel so comfortable in saying the things in which they say to us. So I'm asking to the men, and we have another man
I'm
up
gonna
here.
say,
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm not sure how clearly you can hear me because I had to step outside. My basement just flooded, and when I say everything was destroyed, everything. So I'm kind of waiting for the insurance company to come through next. But real quick, I just wanted to touch on the fact that I do agree with what Dwayne said. Until the men, or let me change that, the Black community gets on board with not airing our dirty laundry in public, they wouldn't have anything to scrutinize, right? We've always been one of those races where it's so easy to attack us because we make it so easy to attack us. We're always on the defense against one another, and it really takes someone in higher ranking, higher authority, a real movement out there where somebody is making some waves in order for us all to get on board. That's my concern and always will be, because I don't see it changing in the Black community collectively. Maybe there'll be a group here, a group there, but unless we all stand up for one another, when we are under attack like this, we wouldn't even have to respond to it. Why? Because we would know that it wasn't true.
Right.
It's really hard to defend something when some of what they are saying is true.
I agree.
So I would venture to say, as Black women, we need to stand up. As Black men, we need to stand up. We need to make a difference in our own community so other communities won't be so comfortable with attacking us. It has to start there.
I, I, I share your sentiments. I
Yeah,
totally
definitely have to start there.
And one of the things I said as I introduced this topic change was encouraging my fellow brown women. I know it hurts. I know it stings. Black women are the only race of women that's constantly having their feelings minimized and feeling unprotected and being told to shut up, be quiet. Oh, it must be true. You know, we're antagonized from so many different levels and different perspectives that at this point I think the best thing we can do, because it's so blatant, and to your point and you and Dwayne both point, when we are the givers of this distasteful information, the best thing you can do is be silent, because there's still power in your silence, right? And I know it's hard, because we as women of color, we've had to be fighters and wear this super cape for decades. Sis, take it off. Take it off. Stop stitching a
Let's
video.
check the history on that, though. How come women have always been fighters, right?
Yeah,
We were put in that position
correct.
because our men were being taken out of the home, right?
Right.
But
Right.
so now that those men were being taken out of the home, they changed the dynamic of the Black family. If you go
Right.
back historically, I mean, way back historically, they've always been a family unit. We were sticking together. Pre-slavery, we were sticking together. It was nothing to have a family that had a mother, a father, and their children. That was the family unit until they started plucking us away slowly, strategically, right? And there has to come a point where we have to step outside of our past. We have to make our new path by stepping out of that past. Like, I don't get upset about things like that because, honey, it doesn't pertain to me. There's nothing a woman outside of this body right here that can even say to me that would make me feel so degraded that I would have to approach her. You got to really spit in my face to make me even want to address something so trivial. And I say it's trivial because look how often these things are being spoken of. Look how often they're being spoken of. And because we have a platform now that allows us to have a voice, you hear more people speaking out about it. However, don't just do it for the gram. Don't just do it for TikTok. Don't just do it for Facebook, right? You got to really be making waves in your community, because if you're not a part of the solution, you're a part of the problem. We need more people that are problem solvers. When we comment on some of these videos out there and make them richer by adding to their content, engaging with them, that just lets them know that, okay, they listening to me. I done got under their skin. We don't have to reply to them. All we have to do is start a new video where we're talking about it in a more positive light, right? Shine our light brighter than the light that they're trying to shine on the ugliness of the community.
Facts.
Shine that light so they can see something good. And I feel like I'm rambling, so I do apologize, but come on now.
No,
We got to do, if you want change, you have to be the change.
That's right.
Speak on it. Speak.
I totally agree. Gerald, what is you patiently waiting? You such a gentleman. You're such a gentleman. So
Don't hype them up. First of all, shout out. I want to say shout out to Miss Wanda, if I said it right. Miss Wanda. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Me personally, I do not. I don't. I don't know how I want to say. I don't condemn women for how they're living their life. I don't go back and forth with women, and I don't believe real men should go back and forth with women. My project is to lead by example, and by that I mean I've raised a son that had a father in his life, who had a father in his life, who had a father in his life. So the effects of my son being a black man at 25 right now is the example that I believe all men. My grandfather worked hard to raise my father. My father worked hard to raise me. I worked hard to raise my brother. So the story you told about the lady from Germany, I haven't heard that story, but I've heard stories like it. And to me, it's an example of black men have gotten to the point where they accept low-hanging fruit, because anything worth having is worth going that extra mile. You're not going to pay for trips. You're not going to pay for dinner, which is cool if y'all in a relationship, you go half, well, she treats you, you treat her, but to get passports just to find women that's going to coddle you like your mother did when you were a baby, that's the problem that I have with most black men. We need to look ourselves in the mirror, not readjust, but adjust our vision and come home and become leaders in the household. I don't know what religious backgrounds y'all have, but the scriptures that I studied said the man is the leader of the household as God was the leader of the church. And to Miss Wanda's plight earlier when she said black people had a history of having family-based traditions. In the 1920s during the Great Depression, black families were thriving.
Yeah.
It wasn't until they made it where they would give black women housing to kick out the black men. Now, the problem I have with that is, as a black man, I have to accept that We as black men just left the house and roamed the streets with each other instead of staying at home and being the man that we were supposed to be. So now, when most black men get mad that black women are aggressive, black women might be angry, they have a right to be. We have left y'all hanging for almost 50 years now. So if people want to side with the lady from Germany for treating her man, I challenge most men to just stand up and be a man. If to be to what they say, the old school, some of y'all kind of young, y'all might not know what I'm talking about, but when they say I pay the cost to be the boss, but at the same time, like, the joke in my household is I joke with my wife because she's from Illinois. And I told her when we first got engaged, I said, I got me a Michelle Obama. I can be president now. Because I can stand up and be a man, but I got this powerful woman pushing my back. And that's what we're supposed to be. That's
And
how
that's how
you
it
work
should
and
be.
run.
Because
Right. And to me, that's how you run as a unit. But since we as black men, and I ain't saying all black men, but the majority, what it looks like now. And if I'm wrong, somebody in the chat tell me. We can't get mad and put the pacifier in our mouth because black women have been forced to stand up, raise their children, run the household, be the male figure and the female figure in the household because we wasn't there. So, like I say, I don't go back and forth on the internet with quote unquote angry black women because I feel you have earned the right to be angry. You should be angry. We as black men have not protected the black woman. You look at any positive and strong black man, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, there was always a very strong black woman holding the household that nobody paid attention to. And I'm like Miss Wanda. I'm not gonna ramble on because I could do this all day, but that's what I wanted to interject.
Yeah, I appreciate your comments, brother, definitely, because I think if we go back and trace the purpose of family, the purpose of having a family unit, and the purpose of even being coupled, we would understand that everybody has a role to play, and it doesn't look the same in each and every household. However, I do believe strongly that there's always going to be one person that's well versed in a certain area, has more expertise in a certain area, that is able to push another person, encourage them, and push them and help them to become better people. I think if we're not doing that for one another, then there's a lack there, and it's going to eventually lead to situations that you see now where they go outside and they find that. Right? So I think there
Right.
has to be a happy balance, but I also want us as black women to see that we have a role as well. And that role is not always to play the angry black woman. We can be angry, but we can catch more flies with honey. Right? So there has to be a
True.
way that we can present ourselves in a more wise manner and still allow people who really are interested in finding out how we tick to really want to listen. And I think that there's a way to do that and be professional about it, have some decorum about it, and have those conversations with other races even that don't really know who we are, what they see. And as far as your point about black men taking the stand, standing up, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, and it's weird. I don't know if y'all how much sports y'all watch, but there is a Caucasian girl that just entered the NBA, and I seen a lot of famous black men running to her rescue when at the same time there's a black female that's been breaking records in basketball, and everybody and all the famous black men were
Come
telling
on.
her she shouldn't be jealous. Like she's not being jealous. She's superiorly better. And I'm like, when are we as black men gonna recognize and stand up for the black women? It's just that's plain and simple. My
So
mother
why
is a black
is
woman.
that? Why is and this is a question for Gerald, for you and Dwayne. And again, I just want to thank all of our viewers that sharing your Sunday with us and that's here in the live. I invite you, male or female, definitely male, because we want to learn from the perspective of a male, like where are you at? What are your thoughts? You do not have to be on camera. You can share as much as you're comfortable with sharing, but Shop Talk is about providing a safe space of healing, education, as well as resources. And if you exit today's live unscripted conversation with just one thing that makes you go back and do something different within your household, within yourself, within the overall Black community, then God has used us well. And that's what we're here for. Um, but circling back to you and Dwayne, why do you think that that is? And how do we bridge that gap, or y'all begin to have them conversations with other men so that they understand the importance of that? Because I hear a lot of men that minimize those granted little nitpicking things, but you know, you poke the bear enough, you're gonna wake the bear up.
Dwayne, you want to go first?
Oh, he tossed the ball
Okay.
right to you, Dwayne.
Dwayne, you want to go? I mean, I got the
Yeah.
I got the get loaded. I can fire that thing, but I want to hear what you got to say too.
Okay. Yeah, man, you fired up, man. So I think the I guess the closest thing that I can think of, the reason why we don't um, protect our women and automatically choose our women and so on and so forth. I think some of these guys have some issues with their moms, right? The black woman that's closest to them, their moms or their aunts or their grandmothers, great grandmothers, like there's some issue, some mistrust, some anger issues. Something is there that's not completely on the up and up, because I think if they had like healthy relationships with the women that's closest to them, then I think you would see more respectful, protective, loving, all those kind of behaviors that come along with relating to women who share your ethnicity and skin color. I might go back in now. I think mosquitoes is out.
They eating you up.
Have fun with that.
Those are the female mosquitoes. I sent them to eat you
Oh.
up specifically.
Let me say this. If it wasn't for my dad, I would be spoiled rotten. I would be no good. Short story. The first time I got arrested and went to jail, my parents bailed me out, and when we went back home, I was walking into the house and my daddy stopped me, and he said, "You better go in there and thank your mother, because I would have let you sit there." If it hadn't have been for my father, my mother would have spoiled me to the point I wouldn't have been no good for no female ever. And along with what Wayne said, it is a connection there. Either your mother held you too long or didn't hold you enough. But one of the bigger problems that I see that I had, I can mostly speak for me because I'm not perfect, and my 20s you wouldn't have got this version of me. But it's the male ego. Our ego is, I want to beat my chest. I want my woman to be submissive, even though I don't know what it is to lead. I want my woman to be at my beck and hand and call, even though I don't know how to protect her. That male ego is what keeps us to have a woman that's just gonna go along to get along. And until we as men tone down this male ego, the problem is just going to continue because we got to feed that ego, and black men have gotten to the point where they feed their own egos more than they look for other people to feed their egos. But when other people feed that ego, they'll agree with wrong just to feed that ego. I get a lot of flack in other groups when I'm talking to men, we just sitting under the low life tree or whatever. Ah man, you soft, you just pandering to women, or you handpick, you got the, bruh. I'm speaking from what I know. I just watched my parents. I walked my mom down the aisle almost 2 years ago. They celebrated 50 years of marriage. I seen it growing up. My son, I'm next week on the 25th, I'm gonna go to about the 6th graduation. He's graduating from the fire academy. He's a Marine. He's been to college. So there's a black man that was raised by a black man that was raised by a black man that was raised by a black man. I cannot say it enough. We need to let this ego go. Come and black people, we got this thing that we throw around, the word king and queen, a lot. And I don't think we totally know what that means. A king is the biggest protector in the land. His job is to make sure that his queen, his people up under him, his army, his everything is protected. In the earlier Bible days and in earlier history, the king was the first one in battle, until he raised the army where he could sit back and just call shots. And see, everybody want to sit back and call shots, but they're not battle tested. I'm sorry. Like I say, I can ramble on this all day. And you can ask my friend Cassandra if she's still in here. We talk about this all the time.
Wow. Man, how many kings out here are willing to go ride out in battle? That's for sure. They were in their chariots. You got to be.
Yeah,
first one. First one out.
They want to be the ones. They want to be the ones sitting back calling shots. No,
right.
With a king became A king became the king because he was the leader in the battle.
Yeah.
We missing steps. That's another thing.
They don't want the fight that David had. So it's wow. A lot to unpack there. A lot to unpack there, Brother Gerald.
And there's a strong, important role of the queen that I don't think a lot of women understand. And I think our strongest weapon is our silence. And I know that's hard, but your queen is able to make moves that the king can't. So understand.
Yes.
For our audience, understand just how powerful that role is. And I think for understandable reasons, a lot of women of color find it offensive if or when anyone, not just black men, but anyone expects them to nurture and care for them. But God created women for a reason to add a certain balance here on earth.
Amen.
So that understand that refusing that role, you're disrespecting God. And I understand it, but we have to learn to get out of our own emotions and way of thinking the worst prison we can be in as men and women, people as a whole, is that which we build within our mind. And things have such a negative connotation put to it that we start to see it as solely negative. There's nothing wrong with submitting as long as he's a leader. And you spoke very eloquently about that, the importance of that. For instance, if I'm in a car with a male friend and I know that that road ends, I'm not gonna just sit there in a car and say, well, he the leader, he should just naturally know. Being a man don't mean you know everything.
Law,
Whoever
yes.
this woman is, a good leader is also one that can follow and take instruction. Otherwise, because you're responsible for a whole group of people, you don't take the whole group down because of your ego, as you spoke to.
Mm.
You also have to know how to follow, and that's where we as women come in at. We are that balance, ladies. And I like to use real life situations for people. If I'm out even with a male friend and I know that he's going to protect me, it is my responsibility to make sure I don't increase the likelihood that he's put in a situation where as though he has to be in harm's way. And that's
Mm-hmm.
something that you, as your role as a queen, that's over other people, whether you have children, whether you have young ladies within the community that look up to you, because you never know who's watching. And we always say, well, I didn't ask to be a role model. You didn't ask, but you're supposed to, because someone nourished you, whether it was 1, 2, 20, 40 people. You're responsible. You're supposed to reach back, and that's that part of that indigenous home unit as well that Wanda was speaking to. We, people of color, have always had a home foundation, no matter how hard and rough the struggle was. I remember that growing up, before entering foster care, there were times that we didn't have lights and we didn't have food. But there was a neighbor that knew that, and I could go to that neighbor's house and eat. I could go to that neighbor's house and sleep. I could go to that neighbor's house and bathe, or I could go to my grandmother's house. If I got in trouble in school, I probably had my bottom tapped several times by the teacher before I left.
Right. Yes.
She had permission, then the neighbor, because the expectation is, your parents didn't raise you like that. And then how dare you get smart with the parent, the adult that's disciplining you, because now you got another whooping comment, from your parent if you did disrespect them. And we have gotten so far away from those pieces, and we're so easily triggered. And as a behavior health professional, I'm always trying to tie that into things to give people a different lens to look at things. Ask yourself, why am I triggered by this? And I've had to do it. Dwain will tell you, I've had to ask myself, why is this thing right here triggering me so bad? And he's given, suggestions on how to deal with it when it rears its ugly little head again. And immediately in it, I'm a true Leo, and I'm like, no, I'm stubborn, I'm not backing down. And then either the same day or a couple of days, I'm like, you know what, I processed it, I thought about it, yeah, I'm gonna do things different. But the very thing that's triggering you 10 times out of 10 from a behavior health perspective is the very thing that's manifested within you that you need to work on. If you are always constantly triggered, and I'm speaking to my women of color, if you are, again, I get it, but if you are still knowing what you've had to deal with historically, what we're dealing with in the here and now, but you're still allowing yourself to be triggered by the behaviors of people that don't even live geographically remotely close to you, that you'll probably never cross paths with or whatever, that is something that I truly, truly urge you to work on. Because if we do not learn to have emotional control, you will surely always find yourself at the effect of that emotion, and it will have you doing it will have you being very, very reactive. Who jamming? Who listening to some good music, it will have you reactive. And one thing about people is that, again, sticking with the analogy of a camera, people will only freeze that reaction moment.
Mm-hmm.
They will never present the picture of the background, the build up leading up to that moment. And now no one's listening to you because all they see is that framed reactive moment. You have to learn to respond, and sometimes a response is just having control over your emotions and making a conscious decision. This situation has everything to do with me, but nothing to do with me. If that makes sense to people. We talked a little bit about that in our last show, why I say that, because people will always make things about you, but it really has nothing to do with you. You have to pick and
Mm-hmm.
choose when to just be silent. And it is so hard. It took me many, 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 many years. And I'm still learning. Please don't think that because I'm in a behavior health profession that I'm by any means perfect. I'm not. I'm still learning and I'm still growing from it. But to my women of color, you have to stop giving it energy, because these things are very intentional to provoke a response. Because I notice for myself and for Wanda, people are always tagging us and stuff. And they're like, hey, and that's the only reason I even saw the video with the German lady, because my algorithm is all music and dancing. For anybody who knows, or the animals, Wanda and I like the animal videos. So when people started tagging me in it, it put it in my algorithm. So now I'm flushing it out of my algorithm, right? But for Wanda and I, we will not bring anything on this particular Shop Talk platform without proper context, without relevance. It has to have substance. What's the starting point? What's the desired outcome? And for this talking point, the desired outcome is for our women and men, that if you're not at a confident point where you're gonna be part of the change that we desperately need, because we do need it, then I implore you to be silent and non-reactive. And I know that's hard, but
Mm-hmm.
I implore you to be silent and non-reactive. I don't know if anybody has anything to say in regards to that, but that's where I'm at with it. That's why I wanted to talk about it, to give it a healthier way, for my women to look at it. Because anybody that has to put down another person to build his or herself up, they're lacking. They done already told you they're insecure, and they do see you as a threat and or competition. So nothing else needs to be said. Nothing else needs to be said.
All right, since y'all gonna be
I would
quiet, I'll
just, and I don't know if I'm coming through clearly right now. I had to move.
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
Oh, can y'all hear me?
Yes. You just want us to look at it, y'all.
Okay.
Everybody.
It's
Yeah,
like
okay.
a really
Everybody look at Wanda
delay. But
while she
I
get
was
it
just gonna
together.
say, I was just going to piggyback off of. Don't come for me. Don't come for me, Gerald.
Hey, we friends now, so I'm coming.
So
We
I was
friends
just
now,
simply
so
going
I'm
to say,
coming.
I want people. I love it. Yeah, I was just simply going to say, I want people to understand that there is a difference between triggers and between strongholds, right? Strongholds are designed to hold you bound to something. So if we continue to not address whatever our past issue was, we're going to continue to be faced with it. We have to get to a point where we not only give it a name, but we also have to address it, speak to it, heal it, be delivered from it. Or else each and every time you see a video like that, or each and every time you hear someone say something to you, you're going to continue to respond to it, and that's going to reactivate that anger. That's going to reactivate that pain. That's going to reactivate the hurt. We have to get to a point where we call that stronghold exactly what it is and tell that enemy to get thee behind you, because you can overcome it, and you don't always have to speak on it. If you're already comfortable in who you are and you know where you stand in every aspect of your life, people can't. They can't get inside of you to change who you are. You can only allow them that insight into yourself. So the moment that you speak, you show exactly whether you're going to be full of wisdom or full of ignorance. You have to choose this day which one you want to serve. It's just that simple. We're involved in a vital issue, and that vital issue is always between good and evil. And all of that dwells right within us. So I tell Nicole all the time, I'm like, listen, I have zero tolerance for ignorance. I do. However, I've always been raised to have tact and decorum. So if I speak on something, I might say it to her a certain way, but if I'm addressing it to someone else openly in the public, I'm going to make sure that I'm keeping my dress on. I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to be a lady in the street. And that's going to be evident in the way that I speak, in the way that I carry myself, and especially in my reaction to ignorance, whether it's a male or a female. We have to choose what our response is going to be.
When I take this and that, I was raised by a minister, so I might make a lot of religious references, but when I asked for God for discipline, he put me in uncomfortable positions to be disciplined. So when you talk about you want to avoid those trigger warnings, avoiding triggers is not a way not to be triggered. If like I say, when I've been at the end of my day, did my little workout, put my salad together, and I lay down, and as soon as I hit Facebook, DoorDash pop up. Hey, in your area is the fattest tasting food that you ever could find. So there's my opportunity to get my discipline in. And yeah, I failed at it. But I'm like this with it. And I got a new catchphrase. I work on stuff all the time, and it might sound weird sometimes, but my new catchphrase is, I'm not perfect, but I got perfect attendance. That means I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to show up every day.
I like that.
So yeah, so when you come across...
show up for yourself, absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah. And see, you hit the nail on the head. Thanks for coming for me on that. Because I learned, and we talked about the suicide attempt in the last one, I learned that showing up for myself made me better for the ones that I love. So that had to be put in place. You keep showing up for other people all you want to, but you're destroying yourself in the process. Once you learn to show up for yourself, then you can be a better self for the people that are surrounded by you. And to the fact of when earlier both of y'all spoke on us being together, and it's platforms like this that I enjoy. It gets a chance to uplift each other. Like Dr. Nicole, shout out to you for putting this together. Miss Wanda, thanks for coming in and sharing your experiences. Wayne, thank you for leaving me out and not speaking up and helping me out. These women are going at me. But it costs you nothing to uplift. I do trucking. I'm a father, and I've done like open mic comedy for the last almost 30 years. And I got friends in all of those situations. When I see them do better, it makes me more excited. Like I got a friend who was able to quit his job, and he's actually touring as a comic. Dude, I inbox him at least once a week. Hey, bro, keep doing what you're doing. I got a friend. I started her in trucking, and now she's on her third truck as a business owner. I talk to her all the time. Dude, shout out to you. That is, I think is dope when I see people, especially in the fields that I'm in, excelling. Because that shows that, hey, they can do it. Hey, if I change my thought process, I can do it. And when I elevate them same, because I don't just pick anybody to be associated and friends with. I know the people that I surround myself are gonna have the same love and care when I make it to the top. And that's what we gotta start doing, is just promoting each other in whatever field. Like Miss Wanda, I hope that water dry up and you can salvage all the stuff in your house. Miss Nicole, I hope you become the biggest healthcare provider in your area. That way you can reach out and help other people. And Wayne, whatever it is you do, I hope you excel at it too. Because that way, once we promote each other, then we will rise as a black nation. But we just gotta stop. My pastor said one time years ago, he said, people will forgive you for anything except for being successful. And that is true. We live in a time where we'll see somebody getting it out the mud and we'll root for them. Then when they reach the mountaintop, we'll be the same ones throwing rocks up there trying to knock them back down.
Yeah.
That's something else we gotta stop doing. So
Absolutely.
somebody else start talking so I don't keep rambling.
I think it was my look, here I go, my turn. So it was I think Maya Angelou had a phrase. She said one time, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, she said, save yourself and then save someone else. And it's so much truth when it comes to that, because speaking on just coming from your point of view, what you just said, there's so many people who are out here to gain that they forget to reach back and help the next person. There's so many people who have overcome so many things and they forgot how to reach back and show that other person how to overcome. I think it definitely needs to be a camaraderie when it comes to the Black family. And that's why I think it's important for, people to really, really collectively, even if you don't practice it, learn about Kwanzaa. Learn about everything that they do in Kwanzaa, because it teaches Black families how to be collectively show up for one another. I can say it about that. So I think that's a good start. If you're not up on what Kwanzaa, what is it, the meaning, the purpose of Kwanzaa, read up on those things. I found it very interesting. But also keep in mind that we all have a role to play. We're not just here just to laugh, ha ha, he he, because that's letting other people think that we're never going through anything. We have to show up for people even when we're doing bad, right? Show up for them even when we're depressed, because just showing up and being your true, authentic self can help the next person who's like, dang, I ain't got to hide this no more. I've been going through this, and this brother done just encouraged me. So I thank you, Gerald, for saying what you said and speaking those encouraging words into all of us, because we're going to go ahead and piggyback off of that and send that right back out to you. Whatever it is that you do, truck driving, the comedy, whatever, may God continue to just overflow, being sent to you right now in Jesus' name, because we need that, right?
Amen.
We all have to be impacted greatly on what everyone else is doing, and we can shine with the greatness just by applauding someone else, right? So automatically that highlight, just I ain't even need no makeup. When you said that, I just started shining from that left side right there. Come on now, look right there.
Get it,
but
get it.
It's just stop it. But yeah, I love it. Keep speaking up for one another, and everybody that don't understand exactly how great Black people are, listen, I I love all people, but it's something about my people, because that's the skin that I've been walking in my whole life, that I'm like, wow, it's nobody out there like us. There is nobody out there like us. From the funniest dance to the way that we speak, the way that we dress, the way that we think, what we've been through, what we've overcome. Man, it's a good time to be Black. I tell you that. I tell you that.
Speak on
So
it.
keep
Yeah,
on being
amen.
great.
Amen.
That's my word for y'all today.
And
That is my word.
Resilience. Black people may laugh at it and think that Black people are making light of the seriousness of what we see going on in the world today, but I want everybody to just sit that's viewing this, and if you're now watching the replay, it is my hope that you will watch the replay to catch all of these gems. Sit in this moment with me for a moment, if you will. We're not making light of any of the trauma that we see going on in the
No.
world. What we're trying to do is not go insane and be at the effect of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
During slavery time, our ancestors sang and danced not because it was a joyous time for them, but they knew there was a bigger picture beyond them in that moment, in that here and now moment. So our people, piggybacking on Wanda, are so amazing and so resilient that we will laugh through the pain to the point that people think we're not even taking it serious. And it's not that we're not taking it serious, but it's like, do you really care how it's affecting us? These are
Yeah.
questions that I'm just learning to ask myself. And sometimes it's the people that's closest to us, the people within our own community, that you have to be real honest, brutally honest with yourself and say, this link needs to be removed, because if we want to keep the foundation sturdy and keep everything from crumbling, this link has to be removed. And right now is so unfortunate that our fellow brown people, both men and women, are so easily distracted by
Yes.
these videos. They don't even see the disconnect that's taking place. And again, with all that's going on in the world and with this election, we need each other now more than ever. We've always needed each other. Historically, it shows that there's strength in numbers. No one can argue that. But take the blindfold off. Sit with yourself. Log off of all social media platforms. Don't go out of the house. Resend that acceptance of attending that party, that turn up, that lit moment. And I want you to, even if you doodle on a piece of paper, what's important to you? Where do you see yourself 12 months from now? If you have children, where do you see your children 12 months from now? And I'm not talking about financially. You can get the money if you invest in the action to get that. Where do you see them spiritually? Where do you see them emotionally, mentally, physically? What are you willing to do action wise to make sure you do your part? Because understand, we all have an assignment. It don't look good, it don't smell good, it don't always feel good, and guess what, it's not going to look the same, and it's not scripted. So you don't even know who's being used for you to fulfill your purpose and your assignment. And that's why I say, and I charge myself with the same responsibility of being silent, even within my own head. What are you willing to do to strengthen your community? Brown people are primarily the primary race that tear each other down. At one point, we had our own schools, we had our own churches, we had our own
Mm-hmm.
everything. And we literally, yes, it was taken from us, but who gave access to it?
We let them in.
we have to collectively take accountability for the disconnect between men and women and our community as a whole. And we have to ask ourselves, do I just want to keep getting on my soapbox and talking about it, or do I want to take little steps to start redoing it? And that little step can be just getting up, maybe going out there and community outreach. If you see somebody that they short of change but they hungry, get them a meal or something. You have to start somewhere and ask yourself, what are we really being distracted from?
Yes.
When you start seeing all this rhetoric popping up, and it pops up at certain times if people pay attention to it, whereas the we as brown people are at each other's neck, ask yourself, what is it that they don't want you to pay attention to? We have a responsibility. And to my ladies again, I'm gonna appeal to you all. And you have to be accountable for you, because you don't, just because someone knock at your door, you don't have to answer. The same way when the Jehovah Witnesses used to come around, and they still come around, and you get down on the floor and act like you ain't. We laugh
But
about
hey,
it,
hey, Miss Nicole, can I say this? We talk about the Jehovah Witnesses, right? But what I take away from what they do, the consistency of what they do.
Correct.
That all of us from different walks of life, from different areas in the
Consistency,
country,
dedication.
you're right, that we all know what you just said, the consistency of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, go. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, that's my whole point. Either you're going to be consistently part of the problem, or you're going to start being consistently part of the solution. And don't worry about how small of an investment you are making, because to some people, to the people that's not doing anything on the sideline, just judging, they don't know how significant that little piece you're doing and how it's going to flourish. Because if enough people lock in and buy into, that's what make you a leader, to have the ability to persuade, to make a difference, to make people move a certain way. Wanda and I doing shop talk, people were worried about, well, how many people are following, how many people are tuning in. And she and I were just kind of like look at each other, be like, the people that's supposed to get it, and the people that want
It
to go on the show
is.
and get it, and they're gonna share it. And we don't get caught up into them numbers, because everything ain't for everybody.
That.
Everything, and I'll say it again, everything is not for everybody. So one
Right.
person, two
And I think
person,
we cut our own arm off by, I'm sorry, it's a delay in the line, sorry.
no, we hear you.
Yeah, I was going to say that I think sometimes we cut our own arm off and bite our own tongues just because, we may have a passion to do something because that is our purpose, but we don't feel we don't have the confidence enough to actually get out there and do something about it. So we look at other people and how they're doing it and think that we're supposed to do it the exact same way, but that's the mistake right there. We try to do it like someone else does it, as opposed to doing it the way that God has ordained for us to do it. Because he already knows, we've already been predestined to do good works, right? We're his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works. He designed us that way. So just because we've been designed that way doesn't mean that he's going to say, okay, here, do it right now. Come on. If we have a relationship with him and we truly listen to him, right? If we truly listen to him, then we'll be careful of the people that we allow in our space. We'll be careful of the people that we allow in our ear. And by people, I mean the radio, the music we listen to, the podcast we listen to, the friends that we hang out with, because all of those are deterrents to the work that God has us to do. Therefore, we may never work and become our full selves because and work to our full potential because we are allowing all of that to sabotage us, all of that to get in here and in here and in there, and it's nothing that we can do unless we learn to recognize it. We all can recognize it, but then you have to think about, do you want to? Is that going to make your life more difficult? Right? Is that going to make your life more uncomfortable? Because you know daggone well that you're supposed to be doing something that you ain't doing. And you know that if you do it, you're going to lose this person. You're going to lose Billy Bob. You're going to lose little Jill down the street. You're going to lose all these people. But what are you willing to give up to become your authentic self, the person that you're already destined to be? Right? It's time to walk into that purpose. It's time to stand up for the people that we really are, right? Sometimes the person that you're reaching back for is really yourself, right? Go back and get her, save her, and then come back into the present where you are right now. And now you can start growing. You can start healing. You can start going. You can start really standing up, speaking up. Even if it's just looking in the mirror, telling yourself that, hey, I know I can go on. I can do this. I don't know who it's talking to right now, but in my spirit, I'm just feeling like somebody on the line is going through something. They went through it last night and they happened upon this podcast. And that for that person, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not the only person that has been through that. You're not the only person who was crying, looking up at the person next to you, wondering why you're with that person. You don't have to worry about being by yourself in that thought because we're here with you. It's people who have been through that. So I don't know why that just sat on my spirit, but just know that it's always somebody who has been, there's nothing new under the sun. Nothing. Don't be afraid to reach out to Dr. Nicole, to me, to Dwain, even to Gerald, if you're listening to this podcast, because we're here as a help. First and foremost, of course, we want people to listen. Of course, we want people to show some love. But at the end of the day, what we want to do is make sure that you're getting what you need. That's what we're here for. I can't speak for nobody else, but if God tells me to speak, I'm going to speak. I'm going to be obedient, and just know that you're loved. You're enough. I love you, and everything is going to be all right. It may not look like it right now, but it's going to be okay. So whoever you are, just know that that word was for you. That word was for you. And I hope that you really receive it, and I pray that you reach out and get the help that you need.
And I'll make sure, thank you, Wanda, and I'll make sure I post our on-call line, hotline numbers, and some other resources after this call. If you are a male, and not to separate our females, but our females tend to be more likely to reach out to myself or Wanda or to someone else to talk and just follow up for support. For our men, Wanda and I continue to say it. We're very intentional about our topics and centering specific topics and dedicating months or weeks or whatever to you all, because we see our men are walking around in a time and you're hurting, and we want you to know that we see you. We see you and we hear you, because there's a difference between listening and versus hearing. We're listening, we hear you, even in the ranting moments, right? We hear you. So what I've started doing, and Wanda and I've started doing as well as Dwain, is even when I see those rants videos online, I invite you to use our platform, because again, our motto is to provide healing, education, and resources. And maybe no one has given you an opportunity just to speak your truth, because it doesn't have to make sense to me and anyone else. If it's living here, it's very real for you. But as the people that we are, and me being a behavior health professional, my task that God charges me with is then to help you process and navigate through that to what's real and what's not real, what's realistic and what's not realistic. And that's where you start, your work can begin. That is where your work can begin. And Wanda just gave some of the best nuggets. Is you have to look at the places you hang at, the music you listen to. What I tell my ladies, when you're going through a breakup, you can't listen to old school Mary J. Blige. You just can't. And I'm not even
No.
trying to. I knew you was gonna laugh at that, Gerald.
I didn't mean to. I apologize.
You could no, because remember I said earlier we laugh to get through the pain, but some of her music that I truly love, is during a very dark moment of her life. But
Mm-hmm.
I say to people, certain scents are not good scents to be around. Certain foods are not good things to be around. If I'm in a dark space, you know what I do now? I get up, I dance, and I only want to dance to happy music. Or I'm very careful about certain foods that I eat. You have to take note of everything that's around you and how do you show up for yourself in those times of chaos and adversity. It seems like Wanda and you and I keep revisiting different topics because it's so relevant. It is so relevant in the here and now, and as we continue to go forward, because one thing's for certain is when you start to get on the right path, you be like, okay, the fog is clearing up. Well, I'm here to tell you that fog is going to clear up, and guess what? Here come a whirlwind. Life is going to keep right on right.
Mm-hmm.
So we're here to hopefully
Absolutely.
equip you with information, which is tools, if you want to call it that help you navigate through the moment. So for my guys, please pay attention and look out for the hotline numbers and the information, whether you reach out to one of us through our hotline number or not. 988 is a national hotline number. You gotta trust somebody, and you can't trust the homeboy or the family member that's just as toxic as your feelings and your way of thinking. And that's a hard pill to swallow. I need us to sit in that moment as well. If I'm feeling bad and I know Dwayne, Wanda, or Gerald is just as toxic as me, I can't call them. So one of the
Right.
things I do in my field is I have patients make a list, a family and a social support list. And then I go through each person. Well, why do you think this person is a good support person? Oh, because they be agreeing with me. No, we're gonna scratch them off the list. I need somebody
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna challenge you to challenge your way of thinking, because your way of thinking is why you're sitting across
Wow,
from
I'm so glad that you said that.
your way of thinking is why you're sitting across from me.
Yeah, it's
Go ahead, Wanda, because I think you get ready, bring it all home.
yeah,
Go.
but that you know it's so easy for. I'm not going to get off on a rant, I promise. I was just going to say yes, if you think about it, it's easy for us to gravitate to people who are always going to agree with us, who are going to allow us to sit in our
Mm-hmm.
mess. The object is, if we want to get better, we want to gravitate to people who are going to tell us when we're wrong and show us how to get on the right path, right? And sometimes that's uncomfortable, but that's what's needed. Like, there's no way that Nicole can come to me and ask me a question that I'm gonna agree with everything, because I don't, and she knows it. And I wouldn't want her to do the exact same thing. I'm gonna call, if you're a friend, then I'm going to call you on your BS. And if you're my friend, I want you to call me on my BS. If not, how can I grow? And I don't know who said you have to have a positive mindset. Absolutely. You have to have a growth mindset. Do you want to stay where you are, or do you want to come out from among that and be better? Right? And the only way that we can do that is if we are preparing ourselves for that growth and making sure that we have the right tools to ensure that we're getting where we need to be.
And I used to say some years ago, and I'm gonna
That's it. I'm done.
go back to saying this: get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because when God is never gonna move you to the next level if you're ill prepared, because you're not gonna be at your full potential. And I'll say that again: a lot of us move to that next level in our, whether it be career, your relationship, or within the community. because you have not corrected what God needs you to correct to be
Amen.
efficient and proficient within that. And I speak from personal experience, true short story real quick. Some years ago, I kept applying for these leadership roles at the place where I'm still at. And it only needed, everyone else was like, yes, Nicole, you're the best person. And one person, I just needed that one person, to say yes. And he said no. And I was devastated. And I was so angry with him. Went to my office bawling, and it was the ugly cry, y'all. Now, and I look amazing, so it was a real ugly cry, right? But he came and he had a conversation with me. And to this day, I remember that conversation. He said, I know you don't want to see me, but do you know why I voted against you? And in my mind, I wasn't saying kind things about him because I really didn't care to know. And he was like, I know you don't want to know. I'm going to tell you anyway. He was like, until you learn to control your emotions in your mouth, you can't lead anybody. He said, because you're talking about leading 12 people that are going to rely on you to keep them employed, advocate for raises, advocate for an array of things. How are you going to do that if you don't know how to be silent at the right time? And you don't know how to process things, and you don't know how to see the bigger picture. And I was so messed up by that. Well, fast forward, second part of the story, I'm now currently dealing with a situation with a team member, because being in a leadership role for years now, where I'm now responsible for ensuring her safety. And this person is fighting me the whole step of the way to Wanda's point, all because it's going to create a little discomfort for her. All because it's going to create a little discomfort for her. But at the same token, want me to advocate and keep them safe. Well, I can't do that because you don't want to be a little bit uncomfortable. So you have to hold people accountable, even in their moment of chaos, and they may be partially right, but people still have to show up for themselves. They don't get a pass. They do not get a pass to not still show up for themselves. And as a leader, whether you're a man or a female, as a leader, you are responsible for being honest with them and sometimes nudging them to show up for themselves. And I'm just going to stop my rant right there. Dwayne, did we lose you? Because we
That was good
No,
stuff.
you good.
I think we boring Dwayne because he just keep leaving.
Nah, I was.
he probably
I had to
signing
go
off
in.
on and getting burgers and fries and stuff.
No, I had to go in
That's
the
why he got
house.
off camera.
No, I had to go in the house. I was getting bit
We
up, and
call it
then
DoorDash.
nah. Then it's gonna start storming, so I had to hunker down.
Likely story. Let us see you on camera. We want to see your grease because I know you
You
probably went and got something to eat.
no.
See what I'm saying? See how he just told me, no, y'all, he not a good leader. He's not following.
I'm not a good follower.
Man, let me tell y'all this quick. You said DoorDash and you made me think of a story. This about a month ago. And it kind of goes to that mindset of choosing your battles almost. Y'all familiar with DoorDash. I know y'all eat healthy all the time. But you put in the address, they meant to be. You put in your PIN. Okay, now when the DoorDash guy came, I seen him and I was trying to instruct him to where I was at. I was in a truck stop parking lot and he just started going off on me because there's a fix-it shop in the parking lot also, but it has a different address. And he's going off on me saying I put in the wrong address. How was he supposed to find this place? But he found it. He's there. but he's just going off. His and the whole time I'm just like, why is he so angry? You know, I'm thinking to myself, he's probably frustrated. He's had a long day of door dashing, and we're on the phone. He get out the car. He's still yelling at me over the phone about me putting the wrong address. I'm talking about he's just totally going off. Now to own me, I wanted to go back off with him because, like I say, I do comedy. I can do quick comebacks. I was made for that. But I was just like thinking to myself, there's something he's going through. So he gave me my food, and I had ordered a Coke because I had been drunk 1 million gallons of water, and I wanted the Coke more than I really wanted the food. So when he handed me the food, I said, where's the Coke? And he's still going off about the address, mind you. He said, they didn't give me no Coke. I said, well, it was a Coke supposed to be on here. Well, they didn't give me no Coke. I said, well, don't worry about it. It's okay. Thank you anyway. So I shut the curtains, and I'm getting ready to go to the back. As soon as I step to come to the back of the truck, I get a knock at the door. It was him. He had went into the truck stop and bought me a 1 liter Coke. He said, sir, you know what? Not one time did you raise your voice, and you left me a huge tip. I'm sorry.
Look at that.
And I was thinking the whole time, he had to be going through something today because it wasn't that big of a deal. But instead of going back off with him, I just looked at it like, I know I had a long day. I was up near Chicago. I don't know if y'all have been to Chicago and tried to drive a little car through there, much longer, big rig. So I understood. I'm like, he's got to be having a bad day. But I would like to believe that my calm demeanor took away some of his anger. To where, like I say, he didn't have to do it. It was a mistake. I didn't make a big deal.
Yeah. You kill more flies. You get more flies with honey.
Yeah, right. He went into the truck stop out of his own money and bought me a 1 liter Coke that I know I didn't need. So stop looking at me like that, doctor.
And I could feel, I was trying to keep a straight face, and I felt myself doing a quick little kitty blink real fast, like blink, 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 like the emoji doll. Okay, I'm sorry for doing my blink, but I was judging you.
Yeah, I could feel it. I'm telling you. As a comedian, you watch the crowd. Yeah, as the judgmental, it popped up like a TikTok gif. Judging you.
I'm judging.
Don't judge that man. He had a good point. He was nice to the guy.
Dwain, how you just gonna wake back up from a mini nap?
No. Thank you, Dwain. Thank you, sir. Once again,
you was right, man.
women.
You was right. You were nice to the guy. That's his feedback.
and he got a 1
Come on, we need about 5 more sentences, Dwain. 5 more sentences.
And he got a 1 liter Coca-Cola when he probably only ordered a small.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm 6'5", over 500 pounds. I ain't never ordered a small Coke ever. Even at the hospital, they try to bring you that little 8-ounce Coke. Like, what am I gonna do with this? We're not taking communion.
Even at the hospital.
You know when you go to the hospital, I don't even know where they get them little bitty things from. Like, nah, I'm gonna need about 7 of them.
Like, can I get about 50 more of those?
Right. Like, if you look in the truck now, I drank gallons of water at a time. No, I ain't ordered a small Coke ever.
Well, you shouldn't be ordering a small Coke.
Yes, ma'am. I told you, I'm not perfect, but I got perfect attendance. I showed up the next day and tried it again.
Don't laugh at him, y'all. Do not laugh at him.
That's right. He may not have won the battle, but he's gonna win the war.
Right.
With a 1 liter Coca-Cola, Dwain.
Right.
That's because you still eating meat.
It's the fact that he caused him to think about his actions. So that goes with what I said earlier. You know, sometimes you just don't even have to react to things. So that's a great story, and thank you so much for sharing it.
Thank you, Miss Wanda. I still feel Dr. Nicole judging us.
Yes, I know.
You know what? It'll be all right, brother. I'm going to pray for her when we get off the line. I'm going to lay hands on her. I'm going to lay hands.
I'm not judging Gerald. I'm judging Dwain because you asked Dwain what did he say. Dwain
So
can't
me
even
now.
really tell you, so I'm giving Dwain different stuff to say. Because I think Dwain went and got something to eat because he done went off camera. He was on camera.
I didn't. No. I'm hiding
Yeah, I
from
can't
the
even see him
storm.
there. What's going on over there?
Right. I ain't never seen
I
no
went
blood
inside.
in all the years I've known him. They don't even like his blood.
Oh. I'm hiding from the lightning too.
Hey man, y'all
don't
leave my
play in
man
Florida.
Dwain alone. We gonna uplift Dwain in his hoagie sandwich and his glass of Hennessy. We gonna uplift. Lord be with Dwain as he blessed the DoorDash with a great tip. And we gonna leave Dwain alone. We gonna.
Mosquitoes do not want them clogged artery blood. Dwayne a DoorDash some food.
Well, bringing it back around. Did you mention to them that our next check-in will be on Thursday, and where we'll be checking in from?
No, I left that for you because
Uh-oh. Bring it.
They excited about that one.
So, our sister here will be celebrating her 50th birthday, and we will be going to the Virgin Islands, and we will be doing our check-in from the beach. So we're definitely excited about that. We'll be sharing, our experience from decade to decade, and now that we've reached the 50 mark, just discussing women's bodies, women empowerment, things that we've learned along the way, and what we hope to continue to learn after 50. So it's going to be a very exciting conversation, and we want to bring you all along.
So
Can't
what?
wait.
We gotta wait 15 years for her to turn 50. We gotta wait 15 years for her to turn 50.
Yeah.
We gotta wait 15 more
It took
years.
them a minute.
Let's wait
I'll be
15 more
retired by
years, because that
then.
means we got to wait 14 more years for me to turn 50. So, let's go with
Y'all
that.
talking about, I'm gonna start hating then. Y'all talking about a trip 15 years from now. What y'all gonna do when she turn 35?
Right.
We planned it ahead.
Nah, I hope
Well,
y'all
I
have
tell
a great
you
time,
what.
man.
We're definitely going to be extra. It's going to be
Do that.
extra. Oh God, extra time. That's all I can say.
But it's gonna be a good time. Listen,
From the airport, we'll be starting from the airport.
Yes. So make sure y'all are following us. It's definitely gonna be media track record, but it's gonna be good stuff because with Wanda and I, you just never know how the conversation, is gonna go. We go from eating Oreo cookies, laughing, to some tears, it's fruitful. It's a conversation of growth. It's gonna be a live stream of true, authentic testimonies. So please, for my ladies, if you want to be empowered, this is a second opportunity. Wanda, you just had an amazing uplifting, no longer waiting to exhale, no excuses. Thank you for paving the way for me as you're introducing me
Beautiful.
personally into the 50s club, looking fabulous. I couldn't think of a better, more best suited person to take this journey and this walk with on this particular day. So I'm looking forward to having you all experience this journey with us. Not personally, because y'all won't be on the beach with us, but I mean, life is not perfect.
I'll find a beach. I'll celebrate with you.
Well, I'm gonna be attending my son's graduation that day, so that'll be my beach.
Yes,
There
and
you go.
Please tell him congratulations.
That's awesome.
We want to see pictures, so get plenty of pictures. Give your wife
Yes, congratulations. Thank him for his service. Yeah.
The Marines are those are good men and women. You know, I used to work with them for years in DC. That's what's up.
Man, I could talk y'all head off about my son, but let me tell you this quick story of he was probably about 5 years old, and I had a friend that was a truck driver at the time. He came into town, and we just sitting on the porch talking, and the ice cream truck, you could hear it around the corner, and so the kids ran up, and my kids and just some more of the kids, Dad, can we get some money for the ice cream truck? And I told my kids no, because their mother was cooking dinner. And I was, I don't want y'all to ruin your dinners. Just no. Didn't even think nothing about it. And I got up, went in the house to check something or to look at something. And while I was in the house, my friend tried to hand my son some money. He said, you can go get you some ice cream out the truck. Your daddy ain't got to know. My son looked at him and said, my dad said no. And he's 5 years old. 5 years old. He told him, he said, my dad said no. That's the type of son that I had. Dude, hey, if
he was already a Marine.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah. When we went to see him for his graduation, if you know anything about the Marines, they have what they call a crucible. It's where you go a few days, no food, no water. You're just out in the wilderness, and it makes or breaks even Marines. All his friends, they were talking about how hard it was and how tough it was. When I finally seen my son, he was like, man, we had so much fun out there. We were starting fires. We were chucking trees at each other. We was fishing. He had a great time. Dude, I'm telling you, if you ever got a chance, you think I'm amazing, my son is the most amazing son you could ever hope for. And I put that on everything. My daddy get mad when I say this, but I say my son is the greatest son since Jesus. And I've stood in church on Father's Day and said, I wish I could have been the father to my son that my father was to me. But more so, I wish I'd have been the son to my father that my son has been to me.
Woo.
That's heavy. Yeah, that's deep. That's beautiful. I wish that all sons could experience having great fathers. I think, wow, we definitely got to talk about that one day, because there's even just riding through the city, I see so many children, so many boys out there who would benefit from having good, strong, present fathers in their lives. So it's commendable to you and to your dad and to your dad's dad that y'all were able to have that family dynamic. It's needed. It's needed.
I tell other fathers, I was like, yeah, everybody talks about how much a child grows when the father is there. I tell other fathers, man, I cannot tell you how much I grew from being in my children's life. It made me a better person. So it's a two-way highway there. Being there as a father, dude, I tell fathers all the time that I know were absentee fathers. I'm like, dude, y'all missing out. Y'all missing out. You're missing out. You think it's fun hanging out with the boys every Friday? Dude, no. There's nothing like going to my son's wrestling match, and when he lose, I clown him like we doing on here, and he laugh and we go on, and like I could talk about him forever. He went to the 9th grade, never wrestled a day in his life. His junior year, he won state.
Wow. That's
The
awesome.
junior year.
Won state. His junior year, he won state. Never wrestled. 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, won state.
Wow. That's what's up.
Yeah, he was a natural.
Yeah, I might. I know that's what I'm gonna have to put my son into is like something very physical, like wrestling or lacrosse, or because that little guy, I tell you, he loves to climb and hit and
Hmm.
jump on. It's
How
crazy.
old is he, Dwayne?
He'll be 4 in December.
Follow his dreams. Like you say, he love to climb. Yeah, take him to the
Mm-hmm.
little rock. Dude, follow his dreams. You will
Mm-hmm.
be
That's
Mm-hmm.
told
amazed how
him that.
much
Yeah.
you enjoy
That's told him
watching
that.
your
Right.
son grow in something that he loves to do.
Absolutely.
My
Absolutely.
son, when he
Yeah.
while he was in when he was in high school, he wrestled, but he also like helped clean up the sports field, the baseball field, the football field. Then they had this little nature center they kept up in the back. He helped with that. While he was in college, him and one of his high school friends had like a environmental services a business together where they had like $10,000 worth of equipment and everything. So whatever he likes to do, Wayne, follow him into it. Watch him
Yeah.
grow. You're gonna enjoy
Hmm.
it. You're not gonna regret one day of it.
Right, right, for sure. I keep an eye on the stuff that he naturally gravitate to, and just throw more and more stuff. Like the climbing thing. We're
Hmm.
gonna take him to a park like that has a little climbing wall to see what he do with it. Cause
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever had an opportunity to really actually climb on something that's meant to be climbed on. So the
Enjoy
stairs and the
that.
sofa, all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please
enjoy
record
that.
that and share if you're comfortable. I
Will
would
do.
love to see how something tells me he's gonna lock in on that. He's gonna surprise you all. Yeah, I think he's
Yeah.
gonna.
Hmm.
Well, maybe he won't surprise you because he's a product of you. I never understood why you did the stuff you did. Yeah, I'm so glad
Sound
I
like
was
you
blessed with a
starting to
daughter
hate,
because
Doc.
no, what I was just, I just shared with Dwayne. I've always loved his fearless, adventurous part to just get up, and try this and try that. And he was always introduced, "Hey Nicole, won't you try this?" And I take it whatever information he gave me, and I would lay it somewhere, or would probably throw it in the trash back then. And what's so ironic is that I did not realize how God was using him at those moments in my life to sow into me, and I'm so grateful that years later we are still friends because all the stuff he was sowing into me, I do all of that stuff and have done those things, and I love it. It's just a matter that I don't think at that point in my life I was ready yet. I was not ready, and he and I just talked about that, even down to little things like being conscious of drinking water. He's always like bringing me, "I want this water. I want a Smirnoff Cooler, or I want a soda." And now I'm like, I got my water in, and I'm like super excited about it. When you just start changing your perspective. So Dwayne has always been adventurous. Get up and move somewhere, and you be like, who just gets up and take a chance and move somewhere? But I love those qualities about him. Just very fearless and intentional about doing the things. And so if his son even has 1/3 of that, yeah, that kid is gonna blow a lot of people's mind. I'm still gonna joke him though, but he's gonna
I know,
he's
right?
gonna blow a lot of people's mind. I think he's gonna tackle that wall, and you're gonna be a proud daddy. You're already proud, but
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna take some pictures and video. I'll put it on
yeah,
TikTok.
yeah, I think
But
he's gonna
but
smash that wall.
not to change subjects too quickly. I just got a notification that President Biden is dropped out of the race. So it's going to be a Kamala Harris run for the presidency.
Are you serious?
He's going to announce it at some point. That's crazy.
Listen, I said earlier in this conversation to people, stop focusing on the wrong stuff. And it's crazy because on the app that we use, Dwayne, the Noon Vibe app, I just posed that question: what do you think we should be doing more of? And I said, get focused. I keep telling you, every time we have a discussion about something, it comes full circle. And I said, stop focusing on all the distractions. And today we had a conversation and talk, each of us, all four of us talked about the many distractions. And here it is, because you and I just talked about this very thing, right? Here it is. So, yeah, our people, pay attention. You don't have time to worry about what somebody brings to the table. That's crazy that he dropped out.
Well, now people are going to have to, decide if they're going to, support a black woman or a white man. it's a or at least a woman that identifies as black. Yeah, but it's gonna be interesting. I want to thank, like, early on we had some supporters while we were talking about the lady that in the video, the German lady, Larry Travers. He supported. Appreciate the support. Spontaneous too. She supported. Sent gifts. That was awesome. She sent a lot of gifts, as a matter of fact. Let's see, someone else did too. Melanin Queen is a gifter, and I think I'm missing one other person, but yeah, but those.
Yeah,
Oh,
you kind of
King
lose people
HGLZ.
because you got booted out a couple of times, and I
Mm-hmm.
think you kind of lose people. And I spoke about Melanin Queen earlier. That's the transition trend I'm asking everyone to do. And
Mm-hmm.
as we do this 4-day countdown to my birthday, but thank you for doing that, Dwayne. So as we're wrapping up again, I'm 4 days away from celebrating my 50th birthday. And again, all I want is for everyone to do that dangerous woman transition. I'll be posting another video putting that on it for all of my men and women. That's the only gift I want. Melanin Queen is the original creator of that trend. Love you much, beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for sharing your day and your time with us. Without you, there is no us. We would show up anyway. If you got one thing out of this, please nourish that one thing, and I promise you, you will not regret it. The whole premises of Shop Talk is to provide healing, education, along with resources. This is indeed a safe space. You will be seeing us again on Thursday. That's July the 25th from St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, is where we will be broadcasting from. Grab a
Ooh.
lady, grab a guy. This is going to be a phenomenal, transparent, unscripted discussion right here. And I couldn't think of a better day and time to actually do this special edition. As always, I'm Dr. Nicole. Please love yourself and love each other, and do so unapologetically. And I invite my two gentlemen to also help me close out, starting with Gerald first, our guest speaker.
Well, thank y'all for listening. Thank you for the ear. And if there's any guys that are listening, you can reach out at any time. Um, I can be a listening ear with no judgment. Uh, I thank God for pointing me in the direction of Dr. Nicole. I really appreciate this forum. And Dwain, thank you for being the person you are and the insight that you have. Let's keep this going because it's
Sir.
needed. If for nobody else, us three can make a better life, and that light will shine to other people.
Yes, sir.
That is mine.
Dwayne, you always the one we gotta remind. Do you have anything to say, or are you eating?
I'm not eating. Nah, but I appreciate having like consecutively another brother to chime in because it's always good to have extra testosterone around. Know what I'm saying? To get like context of things and differences of opinion, even between brothers. So
Hmm.
yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate your delivery. I appreciate your perspective, and I'll be reaching out to you on these fatherhood tips as well too. So that right there, is very important. And all of my homeboys are fathers as well too. So we'll get connected because I
Anytime,
think we
anytime.
yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. Because a lot of us are a little bit earlier on. The oldest uh, son in my crew is he's in his teens. He's doing really well, but it's always good to have the insight to connect. And I appreciate you also as well, Nicole. For inviting me, inviting Gerald. And just giving us a platform to connect with you. And it's great to see the people coming and chiming in and offering support. And yeah, let's keep it up. And I can't wait to see what y'all do in the future.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you. Please have a wonderful week. Now I gotta go and do payroll. I'm gonna get beat up by my staff if I don't do payroll.
Uh, and one
Get on
last
it.
thing, Dr. Nicole. One last thing. I heard what you said about them Oreo cookies. That's all I wanted to say about that. That's all I wanted to say. I
She
didn't want you
thought
to
that was
think
gonna get by.
that slide through. Yeah, that did. I heard, and I know it's gonna be some double stuff and the mega stuff. Yeah, I know about.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no. I do the mint thins. We do the mint thins.
get off my
Oh.
phone, Nicole. Get off my phone. I took the doctor. Get off,
Technically, you're
get off,
on my.
get off,
Which
get
one
off
is
my
it? Is
phone.
he on my phone, Dwayne, or am I on
Get
his?
off. Man, I
Those
hope
big
y'all have
things
a
be
great
banging though.
time. Dwayne, stop.
Yeah.
Stop,
They do be
Dwayne.
banging.
No, they
And,
don't.
and listen,
No, they don't. I
when I
use
I think
make
I
mouthwash
put
in
her
the morning.
on.
when I
I think
make
I put her
fried
on.
Oreos, they are
My man said, I did introduce you to him.
they
Ah.
they are delicious. Them fried Oreo cookies. I'll go live and show you how to make those. It's a nice little.
Man, I went on the bus one time and I brought some cookies on and I don't know if y'all ever rode the bus in a large city or whatever, but I was in DC and like a certain time of day all the high school kids get onto public transportation and they are just let's just say they have a lot of energy. And I brought those cookies on the bus one time, and they were like jumping around and stuff. Uh, I was looking at them, and I showed them the cookies. I was like, "Y'all want some cookies?" And they were like, "What you got?" I showed them those the thin Oreos mints. They were like, "We ain't had any of those." I was like, "Y'all try them," and like I just took the whole bag and like let them pass around. I said, "Y'all gotta sit down though." And they were tearing those cookies up. And by the time they came back to me, guess how many I had left?
Two.
One and a half. Why somebody broke one and a half? Anyways, that's my
No, no
story.
comment. No comment.
You gotta try him, man. You gotta try him.
No comment.
Yeah,
When I
don't
want fresh breath, I got Listerine. When I'm being fat, I want better stuff.
The cakesters, those
the
cakesters.
rest of your day. Please be safe and have a
Yes.
wonderful week.
Amen. Amen.
All right,
Later.
have a good one.
Peace.